Anexis beat VeryGames at the last event, but VeryGames won it in the end. It's a different situation because right now, if VeryGames can't topple Anexis, they're out of the tournament. They can't get back. They can't win the grand final. So it's a little bit of a different story this time, Paul.
Yeah, I think the teams and the way that they match up is very good. I mean, you know, for those that aren't aware, these two have a very storied history over the years in Counter-Strike Source in particular that goes back 4 or 5 years. I mean, we're not talking, you know, we're talking like when these guys used to be called Red Zone back in the day, or Red Line, I think they were called. And of course, the guys that are now in Anexis used to be Mouseables, but before that they were Dignitas, and before that they were Birmingham Salvo. So,
indeed,
you know, these two really do have a storied history against each other. I'm not sure that they particularly dislike each other, but there's definitely a bit of needle.
Well, yeah, I would say in the earlier days in Counter-Strike Source there was a little bit of bad blood between them, a lot of banter being thrown around, but as you can see in that interview as well between the two teams, I think after a while they've just settled down and like, all right, we kind of like playing against each other. Always caters for good games and a good experience for the viewers. So I think they've put the hatchet aside if there ever was one, and right now they're just. I think both teams enjoy playing each other.
We'll hopefully get the. I'm hoping this isn't live because yeah, no, it's not. It's definitely not live. Yeah, we should have the knife round coming up shortly, and then we'll be ready to rock and rumble in this quarterfinal. And as I said before, the great thing is there's no group, so there's no duff games here. They're all going to be great games, because they have to win these maps to get through to the semi-finals. And I think the other side that we haven't really spoken about too much so far is that we spoke about it at the very beginning of the show when not everyone was tuned in, but VeryGames and Anexis, even if they win this one, the likelihood is they'll face ninjas in pyjamas in the next round. So it's not nice for them, is it? They're going to have to play really... I mean, weirdly, and I'm not going to... You know, this is no disrespect to any other teams in the top half of the bracket, but whoever wins this game could, in theory, get to the final and face an easier game than they've had in the semis or the quarters.
Well, I think you're pretty much all right there, Paul. And it's a little bit sad to see, but... in the
end, the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the way the draws go.
The draws aren't always the way viewers or everyone else wants them to be. It's all about putting up the results during the qualification, during the cup, because it's all down to seeds, and everyone knew the rules and how the selection would be drawn at the end when they were at the start of the tournament. So, I mean, we can't really blame anyone for that selection or that draw. It's just the way it is, isn't it?
Yep. And it's interesting, actually, the Raycall season. We had 4 cups and the playoffs, of course. And through that, it was interesting because Anexis actually came in as the overrated individuals in Cup 1, lost to Infused on the opening day, the opening night of that Cup. Would have faced Ninjas in Pyjamas next if they'd won it. The next Cup, they faced Ninjas in Pyjamas first round, so they had a bit of a rough start. Finally, in Cup 3, they got a favourable draw and showed us what they can do by reaching the semis. And it was similar, really, for VeryGames. They actually got knocked out early on in Cup 2 by Imaginary Gaming, who we'll see a bit later on, playing Fnatic. And it took them until Cup 4 before they really secured their place in the playoffs, and they won that Cup. So both sort of very similar stories, really, as far as the Raycall EMS 1 season is concerned. And it's hard to really separate. For me, the way that the maps have come out, you'd think, OK, VeryGames should take Nuke.
Yeah.
Anexis should take Dust 2, and Infernum is almost a coin flip between these two. So I'm really looking forward to it. I have to tell you, I'm just so excited right now.
Oh, we hear people, the players in the background here getting all fired up. They want to get this game started. We can see VeryGames are readying up. So we are just waiting for Anexis to call out ready before we go into the all-important knife round, because obviously, Paul, knife round is pretty important here on Nuke.
It is, but you haven't experienced the Raycall EMS 1 knife round with me yet, have you?
Oh, am I about to experience what everyone has been talking about?
You are.
Oh, wow.
Because the thing is, Joe and I, Joe, by the way, unfortunately has died and gone to League of Legends heaven.
Yeah.
But apparently he's coming back to life tomorrow, or the next day, so it's fine. Joe and I don't like knife rounds. I mean, I don't know how you feel about them. They're important, we know they're important, and they do decide sides, particularly when it's on Nuke, because it's such a biased side. Well, I say that it's 60% biased in favour of CTs, and the same on Train to a lesser degree these days. But they just bore the crap out of me. They really do. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw it open to the community in Twitch. Not this one, but for later on. Let us know how you would like us to commentate the knife round, and I'll do my very best to deliver. If you've been watching the VeryGames EMS 1 series, this will be fairly familiar to you. So here we go then. And it's on nuke appropriately, which means I'm going to break out this. Read then. Bloody. Time for the stabbings to take place. Because that's what we like to do in Scotland. And drink. But none of these guys are drinking. They're going to be doing some bish, bash, bosh. Or not. Jesus, man, get on with it. Taking forever to get the stabbings in. You wouldn't survive 5 minutes in the streets of Glasgow. It's 2v1. It's all over now. I think I've gone into a bit of a Yorkshire accent. Where that's come from. Anyway, VeryGames take the final stab of the round. Oh, dear me. So we hope you enjoyed the knife round. We hope that they actually make the knife rounds a bit more enjoyable than they normally are, because, let's face it, they're a bit of a bore fest. So that's that one done and dusted. Deary me.
All right, so
how did you feel that went then? I don't know what happened at the end. I kind of broke into some sort of local Yorkshire, Northumbrian kind of.
I have to say, I dug it. I love how you transitioned in the end of the round as well. Like
back to normal voice.
I mean, you're mixing it up. You're getting a little bit out of your comfort zone, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I have to say,
damn it! Do you know what I didn't do? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yeah, you've heard it. See, and it's the CTs on new. That's why I should have got one of them. Damn me. So anyone out there on the Twitch chat that thinks that sucked, please let me know, because it did.
All right, Paul, game is going live.
It's game on time. It's serious stuff now, ladies and gents. This is the quarterfinal of VeryGames versus Anexis in the VeryGames ESL EMS 1 Spring Cup Season 1 for $35,000. And we are underway. If I can get a little bit more game sound, I don't know if anyone can turn that up for me, because I can hardly hear them as we follow Existence to start things off. And actually back to Husey. It's the new boy in town. Not new boy to these guys, of course. He's pretty much played with 3 of the 4 in the team. Other than Weber, they were the old Mouse Sports team. So plenty of experience here on the Brit side. They're just waiting to see whether they can find an entry kill into this upper bomb site right now. A smoke onto the top of Tim will put them off a little bit. Weber's starting to lead the charge, but Existence has already come in with 1. In fact, he's got himself a double. Kenny's going to protect them from the upper bracket, from the upper bomb site here. And MBK and Kenny S come in, and they strike first blood. VeryGames very well set in that upper bomb site, and that's exactly where Anexis didn't want to go.
No trouble at all for VeryGames to hold down that push coming out from Anexis. I mean, not one single frag coming out from Anexis there, so really not utilizing that pistol round too well, because as we have seen in other games, Paul, the pistols slightly favor the Ts right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, more than 60% on all of the 5 commonly used maps. Right now, the T side win more often on pistols, so bad start for Anexis. They really needed that one, more so because of the fact that we're on new, because MX has managed to run a bit like a sprinter all the way through the outside into that volcano stairway, and has got himself downstairs already. Weber pops this squeaky as Kenny has picked up the first kill of the round on Husey. Hasn't had the most auspicious of starts, it has to be said, and Existence has got himself his 4th. MBK, wow, where did that come from? Rattlesnake absolutely nailing Smith for the first kill from Anexis. He's only got 6 points of health. We'll pick up another one on MBK, couldn't get to him in time. And Existence will clean things up at the end of the round. 5 from 2 rounds from Existence, which is a nice way of picking it up, actually, because he had a stonking tournament at Mad Cats Birmingham.
Yeah, he did not play really well. I had the chance to cast, and obviously you were sound stage pretty much over in Birmingham doing it as well. So, yeah, I have to agree. It's good to see Existence back in form, and hopefully we'll keep that up throughout the game and not only through Pistol and Eco.
Yep. So underway round 3 already. 2-0 as you'd expected from VeryGames. Yeah, a couple of people outside, one on top of yellow. MX on the outside as Scream starts things off with the M4 shot on Weber. Release just trying to bounce his way away from that ramp room. And Kenny S here might get himself a couple. Just what is Auto Director doing?
No, it's that's why I did not utilize that last game.
What is it doing? Seriously, why would it switch away from that? peculiar, to say the least. Scream then does get himself a frag. This is going to be a straightforward third round win, and then we will get a bye. So VeryGames 3 up, and it's all been straightforward so far, Simon.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see what Anexis are setting up to do here for the first weapons round. It's to me, back when I did professional gaming as well, the fourth round was always the most important round of every half. You might have won the pistol round and the 2 following rounds, but the first weapon-on-weapon round really sets the tone for the rest of the half, doesn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it certainly does. 4 have already headed outside here. Webber, the annoying man on the inside just now, as we're with Kenny S, is just going to check. I keep calling it yellow because that's what it was before, but it's kind of like white now.
Yeah.
Top of drums, I think that's what we'll call that for now. As Hughesy now just leading the, well, not leading the line, but he's at the back of the 6 here. As they push past red, they're looking as if they want to go down Volcano, but they're completely flashed out in that outer area. Just waiting to see what comes of it. MBK's going to get himself the first, Existence the second. Only Hughesy replying for anything at all. He gets nailed long range by MBK on the M4, and this should be good night for Anexis. They've got MX with 16 health. He's going to be dropping down shortly, being pinned down by 2 outside, and again the auto director just not doing a very good job at all of trying to find something. I'm just going to leave him alone and instead find Webber. So we're 4v1. He does have bomb, but also has 4 men to find here. Oh, he's already been tagged down. 73 is a man up top, man below, and MBK cleans things up, and it's 4-0.
I mean, they just get shut down by VeryGames straight off the bat. We don't really see any resistance coming out from the Anexis squad right now. And I have to just point out with the auto director, I don't think it will work considering we are pretty much live right now.
Yeah, right.
It works
Yep.
great when you got the delay.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, so we should just stick to trying to select the players, so bear with us.
Indeed, you are absolutely right. Let's just a quick look and see where they're heading right now. They've decided to put 3 inside. Rattlesnake's just going to leave himself on that outer area right now. Still hasn't got enough money for an AWP, which I would guess he'd prefer on the outer side, but it doesn't really matter right now. VeryGames, look at this area down here, this area here, and this area here. Nothing whatsoever in terms of cover. But it doesn't seem to matter too much right now because it's Webber who's picked up the opening kill. First time they've managed to get the opener. Now, looks as if they might well decide to go and push outside. We see earlier, we were showing you where they were going to go. So they've got all these 2 men just out here. Hughesy inside with bomb. Could still wait. Rattlesnake's looking like he's going to rotate right now as well. And it looks like the upper site might well be the place to go. Well, I don't know. 4 in radio right now, so I could be wrong on that one too. Here goes the smoke deployed for side. In ramp, 35 seconds remaining. Got to make a move soon. MBK comes in with the first kill, takes down Rattlesnake. They do get 3 men in towards this ramp room. Release picks up that first frag as well. Now, can he get a second here? Flash is going to come out. It doesn't matter though. He's been able to turn away, and they are going to get down to this lower bomb site with 22 seconds remaining. There is a man down there as well, and Existence might get himself a frag. No, he's picked off by a combination of Release and Hughesy's Galil in the end, and bomb is now planted with just a few seconds remaining. Big round this one from Anexis. 4-0 to VeryGames, and they finally got themselves on the board. Just Kenny S remaining now, and he's going to hide away with that AWP. Doesn't want to lose the big green at this point, but really good attack. Simon that time round. They really blasted their way in. They were patient with their play and then blasted into that radio room really positively.
Yeah, that's what I want to point out as well. They played it out passively, but when they decided to push in, they did it as a unit and they didn't stop. They didn't hesitate. Kenny is saving his weapon, picking up a kill onto MX as well. Let's see if he can hold it up against the last remaining. It's going to be Dan pushing in. In fact, he's not going for it. But yeah, I would like to point out we saw that from his point of view as well. Dan opening up with a nice kill there on ramp, and that's the kind of player Anexis needs right now. Release has been playing that well. He is the entry killer, and if he can just keep opening up areas for them to proceed into, I think Anexis can start getting a lot of rounds there on that T side.
Just check and see whether they are going to pop outside here. In fact, MX is going to try and come towards this area now as Kenny will just wait. Oh, do you know what? Did he just see in there? No, not quite actually. And he's going to back away. So let's have a quick look and see whether they're going through right now. Scream not had the greatest of starts, has to be said. We're looking to him as one of the key players in the matchup. And as Simon just said, the other key man is Release, and he really needs to get those entry kills. Scream getting a little bit bored inside that ramp room, decides that he's going to try and force the play a little bit. Nothing doing from them just yet, though, and MBK now going to grenade into that lobby. That takes a little bit of health off Release. In fact, only 3. Grenades are weird in Go, aren't they?
Yeah, it's hard to predict what kind of damage output will come out of it.
Bomb still waiting. Now, Kenny does pick up that first kill from outside. He's changed his position to the upper rafters now, and there is another man just below him. Now, I don't know if you can see him because he's scoped up, changed away from it, and there is a man just outside now. If he pops out here... No, he's decided to back away. They think the ramp room is going to be the push. It is going to be the push. Scream with a double. Kenny comes in with a third. Last man standing here will be Rattlesnake now. And he has got himself down low. I don't think they'll know that he's actually there, so they might just drop down here into the path of the AK. That's exactly what the first man does. Won't make any difference. Nailed in the face by Kenny S. And VeryGames lead 5-1 now.
Wow. Anexis picking up that round, but then once again we saw that in the previous matchup as well, and Faculty and all. Absolute legends. There we go. There we go. With picking up that one round and then being smashed down the following round, it's not going to be good for your confidence at all. You get that momentum going, and then all of a sudden it gets taken away straight off the bat. So I mean, Anexis not really feeling good right now. I think being forced onto an eco.
The funny thing as well is that while Scream's not having the greatest start to this game, Kenny S is 8-0 right now after 6. And they just can't find a way past him. And I think it's sort of the fact that it's on CT. He started on CT side with that AWP because they had the money advantage, and Rattlesnake's not been able to get the AWP to fire back and therefore go eye to eye. So it's probably not going to work that way for Anexis right now unless they put a few rounds on the board. But any rounds on the board right now on Nuke, I mean, if you get to sort of 4 or 5 rounds, you're pretty happy on T side. So not a worry just yet. 5-1's okay. Just flick around them right now. I'm going to Scream. Well, he's still holding that ramp room with Smith, so again, nothing doing between them just yet. Husey playing at the back of these 4 players inside lobby, completely flashed right now. So, wretched flash. They are now going to push their way through. Existence drops 1, gets 2, gets 3. And Existence is absolutely rolling through them right now. Couldn't even get to him before the end of the round. It was that quick. MBK and Smith clean up the final 2 kills. And again, Existence on fire right now. He's 9-2 at the top of the scoreboard. MBK 8-2. Kenny S 8-0. And Husey topping the scoreboard right now in terms of points, but not frags. But he's 1 for 6 right now. Best player, Rattlesnake, 3 for 7. So not going too well right now. 7 rounds in, but it's biased a little bit, Simon, because of the way that the CTs and the Ts work.
Indeed, and once again, Rattlesnake being forced to buy Galil here. I don't know if that's intentional, but I would think they would want Rattlesnake to utilize that AWP to open up kills either out towards Yard or towards that ramp area.
He's used Galil a lot, and I know that he does try and save a bit of cash by getting one.
All right.
To then buy AWP if they win a round after this. So could be intentional, probably is intentional to be fair, and he probably had the most amount of money as well. So Release with the first one. Kenny S comes back with the second. Kenny coming under a bit of fire in this upper area right now. He's going to have to get some... Divas, brilliant shot though. Pixel, perfect shot from Kenny. Misses the second one. Doesn't matter though. Picks up the pistol and will take down MX for the final kill of the round. And VeryGames are absolutely steamrolling ahead right now. 7-1 in the lead.
All right, what I would like to see from Anexis right now, well, I can't really see a lot of weaknesses in the defense of VeryGames, but I would like to see Anexis utilizing that outer push a lot more, going through Volcano, because obviously that has been the huge difference on this remake of Nuke, which makes it a little bit more balanced. Are we seeing an offensive push here from Existence?
Maybe. Let's just wait and see if he does decide to go through here. You know what, that grenade would be a nice little follow-up. It's done a little bit of damage in there, and Hughes is already down 49. If he goes now, he might get himself a hatful of frags. He's already got himself a hatful of frags in the game. Go on, you know you want to.
He's itching to push in here, Paul. He is itching.
How would you have so much self-discipline when you when you really want to do that. Now, he's thrown in a defensive flash there. Scream's got the first one and the second one here as well. They are trying to make their way out into this ramp room. It's not going to make any difference, though. Look at that. Kenny S picks up another double at the end of the round. He still hasn't died, and he's now 12 for 0.
He's got the money right now, Paul, and I have to say, even though, because coming from 1.6 in Source, we are pretty much used to ecos being worthless. But
they're not in Go.
No, in Global Offensive, we see a lot of bombs being planted. We see a lot of rounds actually being won in ecos as well. But what we're seeing from VeryGames is total lockdown in their anti-ecos. They're not losing one single player, and they're not letting Anexis get that plant. So you can't really get, Anexis can't get that money rolling, so they can't really afford ops either. So I'm a little bit worried here for the British side of Anexis.
Yeah. I thought we had double AWP for a moment, but we haven't. It's traditionally a VeryGames strat on train, but not so much on nuke. Although I have seen them run it in the past when they've had sort of multitude of cash flowing around their bank accounts for being good CTs. And Kenny is still waiting. They've smoked up that outside now, so they are going to try and push round here. Oh, do you know what? That was so close from Kenny S to pick up that first frag. Now they're going to try and get into this upper bomb site. Kenny has picked up the second one. Oh, misses a shot as he goes into that bomb site. There's one for the scrapbook. Now MBK's one. They've got a 2 versus 3 here in Anexis. Kenny S, doesn't matter about the AWP. He's going to pick up another kill, Screaming with the second. And it's 9-1 now. And this half has become almost more about how many kills Kenny S can pick up without dying than it has about how many rounds Anexis can win.
Yeah, VeryGames is pretty much a train now, just chewing through Anexis. It's just steamrolling. Anexis has no chance whatsoever. And once again, I'm a little bit... I don't know, I'm a little bit surprised to see no ops being utilized. Anexis probably has decided about this before going into the game, that they do not want to use ops on that T side. But I mean, I've seen this coming out from before with Anexis as well. They want to utilize that AWP, but it doesn't happen until the very last rounds in the first half. So I think we might see an AWP coming out in the last rounds of this half.
Yeah, indeed. Kenny's still waiting again on that outer area. They smoked it. And now he'll wait. Now, can he get a sliver through that smoke? Well, he might be able to, but he's not going to get any frags here at all. Now, why are they going to try and make their way down Volcano? They haven't done so yet. Oh, Kenny, yes, yet again. Nails another one through the smoke. Smith's with a double to back him up. And VeryGames are absolutely on fire right now. There is nothing Anexis can do about it. Weber putting up a little bit of resistance, as I say. That commentator's curse, of course. But it's now a 4v2. Hughesy and Weber remaining. And, well, Hughesy gets dropped as soon as we change over. And Weber does... Well, good camera work there, Rado. Well done. And for those of you asking, can we use Auto Director? No, we can't, because it's just not working very well.
What Auto
we've got
Director?
zero delay. Therefore, it's just not picking up what it normally picks up in terms of finding action. So we're just having to rely on my very poor, rusty, I might add, camera skills right now. But it doesn't really matter because you're not really missing much. VeryGames are just rolling through Anexis right now on CT side. It's 10-1. And, well, they're going to go for a fast push by the looks of things. Yeah, they are. It's not going to work, though, because Smith's already got himself one. Kenny's got himself another. It's now 2 versus 1. MBK gets himself a double, and that'll be end of the round. Thanks very much, MBK with the triple. And that'll be another round in the bag, 11-1. What, if anything, right now, Walkdown, do you think Anexis can do to change things up? Although they did try and change things up in that last round.
I'll tell you this much. They pushed ramp one round where they got the bomb planted on lower. What we just saw from them was what seemed to be a fast push onto that upper bomb side, stagnated in that door room, and they pretty much were just sitting ducks right there, just being shot down from every angle from VeryGames. If they decide to push onto a bomb site, you can't stop just because you're flashed or smoked. You need to keep moving. Because if you're just standing there, you're just going to die, and we kind of saw that happening as well. I want them to start picking up towards ramp, at least pushing the CT back and just go for that lower bomb site. Utilize the smokes and get that bomb planted, because they need the money, Paul.
Really good point that you make as well. That funnily enough, when I first started playing Counter-Strike back in the 1.6 days, was that when I got flashed or smoke, I would run away. And it's like the first thing you learn not to do.
Yeah,
because
it's
if
basic.
you can actually, if you can push in as a team, regardless of being flashed or smoked, you actually, you play a lot better. I still do it in mixes, by the way. My mix team hate me for it. We get Weber in with 1. Existence and Smith will drop 2 though. As MX pops around the corner, gets the first one. Can he get the second one here? Yes, he can. MX doubles up inside the bomb site now. Kenny S is going to have to go huge and does so. Picks off MX and Scream picks out Rattlesnake as well. 12-1. And it doesn't seem to matter whatever magic they come up with. Anexis just aren't going to win a round right now.
What I want to do now is listen a little bit into what Anexis are saying on comms here.
No, it's nothing to do with armor. It's literally just we're getting. Maybe we should go slow ramp or what? 40-second ramp take. Just chill. I think we should. We don't have the opportunity to stop them because we're running through smokes 24/7. Well, I just said it's not smokes. If it wasn't smoke, no, why we're not smokes. These smokes up when we go.
Really, really interesting. We'll have to do that a bit more in the second half as well, listening to them. That was Anexis as Rolex picks up the first kill on the round. Now, what can they do from here? You heard me. It sounded almost like there was a bit of disarray in there.
Yeah, they were pretty much talking over what to do now, and some of them even said what I was saying as well. We need to push ramp, but and then you also heard we're just pushing through flashes and smokes. It's no point.
Yeah.
And when you reach that point, when you feel that whatever you do is useless, you're gonna have a hard time picking it up and winning the game.
So 12-1, VeryGames leading this. Not just leading it, dominating it, as Kenny S gets himself another one. Do you know what? He gets himself a second. I was just going to switch away to try and find Scream. And then Auto Director took it away as well. So Smith will claim the last couple of the round. That's 13-1 at the half. Kenny S has now died, but he is 21 for 1. I mean, there's levels of sick here, right? There's kind of like, sick, and then there's off the chart sick, and then there's vomiting.
And then there's Kenny S.
Yeah, and then there's Kenny S above that.
Well,
21 for 1.
He's got 21 kills per death. I mean, that's... I
don't want to miss any more. I don't want to miss any more of his kills. So I'm just going to stay with him. They've got 3 men pushing outside here, so there might well be a rush towards that volcano stairs as Smiths gets the first and the second, MBK the third. Thanks very much. Oh, hello! Final shadow round goes appropriately to Kenny S, who will finish it 22 for 1. Good halves exchanged, but I have to tell you, that wasn't a good half from Anexis. But VeryGames, and particularly Kenny S, were on fire.
They held down that CT side of Nuke like it was pretty much their hometown. They knew everything. And they didn't leave room for Anexis to really push out. Even though Anexis got a couple of the first kills in some of the rounds, it didn't really matter for them, because every time VeryGames was up against the wall, the remaining players would just step up and clean up. 14-1. This means the pistol round has to go in favor of Anexis, and as you can see on the monitor as well, Sam is, well, to be honest, he looks a little bit disheartened. Yeah,
he does. I tell you who else is disheartened as well. He's played 15 rounds and he's come back, but Hughes has got 1 frag so far.
Yeah.
Don't be too mean to him, because it is just his comeback game, but you need to be doing more than that. Now, already a bit of damage done through the doorway onto Rattlesnake, but it won't make any difference. He picks up the first kill on Kenny S. Now then, is the mother of all comebacks on perhaps here? Existence has to be careful. They've already lost that first man. They know they've done some damage to Rattlesnake, so they'll potentially try and look at this squeaky. Again, Existence just waiting back. Let's just have a look and see. Well, look at the advanced position they've actually found themselves right now. Outside, Smith has got himself down the volcano stairs and into that lower bomb site. There is a man just behind him, but it's difficult to know whether he's up or down right now. He is going to pop out right now and come under fire from Smith. Somehow gets away with his life with 2 health. Unbelievable. Now smoke goes in. Grenade comes back for him. So a little bit of an exchange of grenades there. Flash goes into the lower site as MBK gets a kill onto Release. They're 4 versus 3 right now. Bomb is now planted. Huge round this from VeryGames, and it's going their way. Weber and now MX. They're going to go for a cheeky defuse here, MX, on the bomb plant. No, doesn't quite get there. MBK picks him off at the last possible moment, and it's now a 2 versus 1. Makes no difference. Weber is disposed of, and MBK cleans house. It's 15-1. It's map 1, match point.
And what you actually missed there, Paul, MX headshotting Rattlesnake and taking Rattlesnake out of that round. And
Didn't even see it.
You could hear in the background that Sam was not pleased about that. Such an important round. It's not double elim, there's a single elim.
I got a shotgun, so I'm not going to push. Power splash.
Yeah, it's all pretty much defeated up there, isn't it? Now they blast down to this upper bomb site. What can they do? Well, the answer is pretty much nothing. It's 2 versus 2, though. Weber is the last man alive as MBK disposes of Fusey. And a 2v1 to save the match in terms of the first map, anyway. And a shotgun in the hand of Weber, who is awkwardly going up and down on the ladder right now. Let's just have a look and see where they are. Screaming MBK on site right now. Weber will know. Now, he thinks they've rotated low. He's wrong. He's now got a huge amount of work to try and rescue this game. Mother of all comebacks? I think this would be the tornado of all comebacks if you come back from here. Right, now up to the upper bomb site. Picked off easily by MBK, and that'll be GG. 16-1, and that is a demolition.
Wow. Imagine being on that Anexis side, knowing that you got one more map here, at least. What do you do? What do you think? I mean, you've been a manager, Paul. You've been through motivating your teammates. I mean, how would you? What would you say to Anexis right now to pep them back? Try to